Good afternoon, Universal Learning Academy families. Good afternoon, students and staff in grades 9 through 12. This is Mrs. Jose Janai's, I would say, fourth time going live this week. We wanted to provide our families the utmost hands-on, one-on-one, and most engaging opportunity to get to know what to expect in the 2020-2021 school year. We understand that there are a lot of uncertainties. There has been a level of anxiety this year across really the nation. And this is only natural with anything new that anybody encounters. The goal with the restructuring of the instructional plan and the learning and the teaching plan this year has been really to accommodate the needs of our students. We gathered feedback from all stakeholders as early as June, and we continue to collaborate with the team over the summer to ensure that our learning plan does meet the needs of the kiddos and is as engaging as possible, in the sense that it would have us with the students connected and engaged as it would be in the traditional setting, especially that we understand, families encountered a level of stress and struggle in taking on, the job of teaching, which is why today we will spend a good amount of time with Mrs. Hojej going over the instructional plan and the rationale as to why we went with this option as opposed to other virtual schedule options. And we will also have a one-on-one conversation with the teachers in breakout sessions that Ms. Hojej will also provide us by the end of this orientation. For those of you that don't know me and they are new to the Academy, I'm Mrs. Busi, the Academy Principal for Pre-K through 12th grades here. I am going on my 5th year with the Academy, and it's been an honor to service you, and we work alongside the teachers, the administrators, the families, and we thank you for your continued partnership and trust, and really, positive support all these years to ensure we get to the point where, we continue to see that positive, progress with our student population, whether that progress is academically speaking, athletically speaking, within the extracurricular. There has been many wonderful achievements for our students. And on this call or on this live stream this morning, we do have some seniors. A lot of them have been with us since kindergarten, and we take pride in that. That only reflects the fact that your student is comfortable, and you as a family, as a parent, as a guardian, continue to be comfortable with the services and the programs that we are offering. One thing I do want to reinforce is that ULA team will not take a shortcut just because we're behind a screen. Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, we will up our standards and our expectations and work harder to ensure we are delivering the utmost, best learning, and teaching, I would say, a style possible within our capacity. So this year you may have felt that level of, you're feeling overwhelmed a bit, but that is more than okay. This is what the college students are right now experiencing as well. Your high school experience should mirror what you expect in the post-secondary education. And it is our utmost goal for you to graduate feeling more and more college and career ready. This is ultimately the goal. I do want us to try to look back on some of the wonderful memories. I do have a video that I've played in the orientations that were previous to this one. The audio may not work, so it is okay. We always want to look back on those memories and always have that positive forward thinking. The old type of schooling may not return anytime soon. Who knows? We're not the experts. But we are the experts in restructuring and reforming and being creative in delivering, I would say, creative learning experiences and structuring and working collaboratively with the teams and making sure that our students become proficient in virtual online learning, and they are still college and career ready. So this is exactly what we did this summer. Yes, our memories are wonderful memories to look back on, but it is now time to start collaborating and working to set forth, the plan for what's coming, the upcoming months, the upcoming weeks. How can we continue delivering the same standards, the same programs and services without taking shortcuts? And this is where my 9th through 12th grade students will have a heavy voice and I would say active participation in this process. And as a matter of fact, I would say that the hourly bell schedule, live sessions with the teachers, was a direct feedback from students across all grade levels. As you know, at ULA, you are fully capable of emailing your administration, your teachers, texting on Dojo, Remind, whatever platform you're comfortable in using. And we've heard your voice, and you shared that in the feedback that you would like to see more virtual, more one-on-one, hence why the bell schedule was restructured this year. Let's begin with the presentation, which I will make available to our families on Class Dojo. And we can begin. Try the video. If the audio doesn't work, that's okay.
Ms. Busi, can you share your screen, please?
Absolutely. I will go ahead and share my screen at this point. Hoping that it would work. So we recognize that the audio did not necessarily work. And that's okay. That's unfortunately, some of the technical difficulties that we recognize you may experience sometimes in the live stream sessions, we may experience, and that's where we always will come back to the table, to the discussion and communication table, and invite, if you are ever encountering a certain circumstance, it's very critical that you engage your teacher. Let us know at the main office level, at the administration level, and we'll be more than happy to accommodate your needs and accommodate your circumstances. We have been encouraging students across 9 through 12 to engage live through camera, through audio and visual with the teachers. And that's only to provide you guys with the utmost learning experience so that you can be there one-on-one with your students. Now, we do recognize that there are some circumstances that may not permit you to participate in that direct, mode with your teachers, and that is okay. But we would not know those circumstances unless you end up, communicating with us, sending an email in a professional manner, engaging your parent regarding in the discussion process, and we'll be more than happy to accommodate that request. However, we highly encourage our students to be heavily involved in every way possible to ensure we are attending to your academic needs. We do enjoy watching this video over and over, and that's simply because it basically, reminds us of the journey that we have been working towards at ULA. And this journey, it does not come, to reality unless there are, educators, and there are families, and there are students committed to success, and there are students who are active participants in this process. And I will, address you more directly as 9th or 12th grade students today, as opposed to the other orientations I've had earlier this week. And that's simply because, as I reflect back on my experience with the ULA kiddos and ULA family and students, you have been very heavily involved. There hasn't been an activity, there hasn't been an event, there hasn't been anything that we started new at the academy that the 9th through 12th grade students weren't involved in. So all of these wonderful recognitions and achievements we were able to accumulate over the years. And as we look back, it only makes us proud, and it gives us the energy and the grit and the resilience to continue pushing to ensure, we resume with that level of service. And we would hope to see that same level of engagement this year at the students level, at their, the families. I do know that some families were heavily involved in extracurricular programs like the robotics team last year. And if it wasn't for them, our students would not have been where, they were as of, February of 2020. So wonderful, success stories that we want to continue to reflect upon and continue celebrating. Something you guys will notice this year that has been, I would say, further reinforced in the strategic plan for the academy is the integration of informational technology and informational literacy. There has been a heavy focus in realigning our curriculum and instructional plans and scope and sequence across all subjects and really all curriculum. And that is due to the fact that you, as a student in this age, you are in need heavily of establishing skills that will allow you to go after the information, looking for credible sources, making sense of the information, and developing, I would say, the process of thinking as opposed to the process of recalling information. This has been a heavy emphasis, I would say, for the past 3-4 years, where you are engaged in reflection skills, communication skills. You're being trained on how to collaborate. You're being trained on how to practice information literacy. Additional goal you will notice this year is the ability of students to effectively use technology, those technology platforms, and and I would say tools and instructional technology features to access, evaluate, integrate, create and communicate. Ultimately, focus on the word communicate information. We have focused a lot this year on ensuring our instructional plan addresses that, simply because this is not going to go away. It's only going to be further emphasized in the upcoming years, especially that colleges and universities and really public schools in general are recognizing the need to train our students and equip you with the skills necessary to be proficient in terms of instructional technology. Nothing is going to go away in terms of the additional or the other goals that have been previously established. We have committees, we have clubs, we have programs that are the heart of the academy that basically revolve and align with the goals that are existing. Character education, holding you up to high standards of performance in terms of character, in terms of communication skills, whether it is with your student, whether with your fellow student, with your teacher. Heavy emphasis on the fact that we are such a diverse school community, and we take pride in that. And being equipped in how to work with that diversity in such a positive manner. The diversity is so rich in our academy, and we use it as an asset, nothing but an asset to the success of the learning process at ULA, and that is going to continue across all grade levels. Your families will continue to be positively engaged. Their decision making really made a huge, and their feedback made a huge, I would say, impact, and in fact had a huge direct impact as to how the instructional plan was designed. This is going to continue, in addition to the use of Class Dojo as a K-12 tool, communicate for communication, the emphasis on organization skills, structuring yourself. It may not necessarily be the standard interactive notebook, interactive binder, but more so I would say, the digital way of structuring yourself and organizing your learning. And Mrs. Hojej will spend some time this morning focusing on that, because this will be so important for your success this year. K-12 literacy, and when I say literacy, it's all types of literacy across the curriculum and across the grade levels. Targeted instruction will not go away. Why? We have testing upcoming this fall. PSATs will be, in October. The College Board continues to provide us with update, and we are aligning our testing procedures and plans to ensure full compliance with what testing guidelines are out there this year. The Arabic language program continues to be a key. Each and every high schooler will need 2 credits of that in order to graduate. Miss Maisie continues to be our counselor for this year. Her and I will be meeting, I would say, more directly with classes, particularly 11th and 12th grade this year, because of how critical these grade levels are to ensuring progress towards graduation and being on time. And so that's forthcoming, and that will be more, I would say, one-on-one in terms of visiting one of your existing classes. So let's, at this point, allow Mrs. Hojej to go over the instructional plan for the first month of school.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome, parents, students, and then fellow colleagues that may be joining us this afternoon. Welcome to the 2021 school year. We're super excited, as unusual as the start has been. I feel we're ready, and it's been a great start. So I'm actually looking forward to what this year brings. Those of you at grades 9 through 12 are at a critical point in your educational career, and development of the plan as it aligned to 9 through 12 needs really was heavily dependent upon your needs, your feedback, and the feedback from your teachers as well as your parents, and our own observations, especially in the spring. Given that we were able to use the same platform, Google Classroom, we were able, excuse me, we were able to tweak some of the things that we may have run into and reflect on it and develop a really well-rounded plan for ourselves for going into this school year. So thank you for your feedback, and keep it coming. You know, as we experience this fall in our classes, and you have feedback, please keep that coming, because it really helps us to evaluate our systems. Now, as far as the live sessions for all 6th through 12th, I know we're focusing on 9th through 12th now, you'll be going live on an hourly basis in accordance with your schedule. So by now, everyone has picked up their schedules or has received them virtually, and we are following them on Google Classroom via Google Meet. So that is happening on an hourly basis. Now, does that mean that you're sitting in front of a computer for the full hour? No, not necessarily. You know, your teachers, part of the plan is that teachers are providing explicit guided instruction for the first 20 to 30 minutes, and the remainder of the time is going to vary depending on the lesson. So it's either going to be some form of independent work, maybe it's peer work that you're doing outside of that live session, and so on, but your teacher does remain available in live. That session does remain active for the remainder of the hour, should you need to hop back in and ask a question or require any additional support.
And can you provide details in terms of what it means to be active? What does that look like in terms of the Google Classroom itself?
So when your teacher is live, when you are live with your teacher, so say your first hour class starts at 7:55, the teacher will spend after attendance a good 20 to 30 minutes, depending on the content for that day. Really, it's at the teacher's discretion, reviewing or teaching the actual content of that lesson. So if it's a math lesson, she's going to spend 20 to 30 minutes in front of you. Your screens should be on, your microphones should be muted. You have the opportunity to really collaborate as a class, as if you were in the classroom. The remainder of that hour will typically be dedicated to the independent practice of of that assignment, or of that lesson. So if you were doing a math activity, you did the lesson with the teacher, and then you're working on your classwork or homework, the independent part of that, the second half of the class. So when I say the teacher remains active, it means that while you might mute your screen and go to work independently, your teacher is still there available for you to hop back in and say, hey, I have a question, or hey, I didn't understand this, or anything else that you might need. So we are following our our regular schedule that was shared with you, so our teachers, and so we've streamlined that process, and that really was based on not only what we feel you guys need as high schoolers for you to be truly prepared for your high school years and beyond, but it was your feedback as well. You know, having the teacher in front of you really is best case scenario for you. And while it is a rigorous plan, and I don't necessarily see that all over, across the board, in our school, we felt that this was important for our community, our students, and our needs. So it is rigorous. It will take getting used to, but at the end of the day, we are not going to, lower our standards of academic success and what we expect from our students and our staff because we're behind a screen. So this is our plan. It's a rigorous one, and we're happy with it. We're off to a great start. It's been a great week so far. So let's keep that momentum going. Now, as far as attendance, as you know, 6th through 12th, you are checking in not through an assignment, which was the case in the spring, but rather through a live session. So you are to enter your live session in order for your teacher to take attendance and for you to be counted as present. That is very similar to being in the classroom. You're present physically, the teacher sees your face. I encourage you to wake up, in a timely manner, wake up on time, get ready for school, dedicate a specific spot in your house for school so that it's a very structured routine, and make sure you are on time to every class. That is when teachers will mark you as present, and how we hold not only ourselves, but you accountable for being there in a timely manner. So attendance, again, continues to be live during your live sessions. As far as assessments, Ms. Boosie did touch on some of the standardized assessments taking place this fall. That information is forthcoming. Ms. Mazie will be sharing additional information as we near that time. But as far as our regular formative and summatives, our assessment policy has not changed. I know we had a little bit of leeway and flexibility with that in the spring, but we are, again, full accountability. We are sticking to our 80-20 percentage split with summatives and formatives. You're going to continue to have formatives on a regular basis, and then summatives throughout the unit. There will be projects, presentations, writing, all of that with rubrics, the same as you would receive in the classroom. Really, all we did was transfer our curriculum onto a virtual, mode of instruction. We have not changed our standards. We have not changed our expectations. We've just, it migrated to a virtual platform. That's all that we've done. So everything that you're used to in terms of policy, our assessment policy, our grading policy, all of that has remained the same. Now, you guys know that, or those of you that are new to our school, this will be new to you, but we have implemented, it's our third or fourth year now, an organization system for students in grades 4 through 12, which involved binders in a very structured way of, maintaining your course materials. I'm sorry? Oh. Maintaining these binders in an organization system throughout, for each and every class. Given that we are virtual and not using physical materials, we're going to be moving that organization into a virtual system instead. If you've gone into your Google Classroom, under the classwork tab, you've noticed that there are topics. Excuse me for 1 second.
I can go ahead and proceed, Ms. Hojej.
Yeah, I just need to mute something.
Yeah, absolutely not a problem while you handle the technical issues on your end. So as far as the virtual digital curriculum, even if we proceed and we do start with the schedule of blended learning, please know that we are in the process of purchasing digital curriculum really for all core and supplemental resources that are necessary to implement our units scope and sequence. So forthcoming students will be receiving access to their math online curriculum, their science online curriculum. You will also have access to iExcel as it's been the case in the past. So this will help restructure our learning and be ready for any particular switch to online learning, virtual learning. So if you are a virtual learner or blended learner, you're not going to really see much difference in terms of what we will post on Google Classroom and what we are implementing at the classroom level versus the online classroom level. Ms. Hojej? You're still on mute.
So, yeah, thank you. You will be doing that. And in fact, this week is heavily focused on the logistics of Google Classroom and our online resources. So teachers are really focusing less on content this first week and more so on getting you connected to Google Classroom, getting you connected to, the different online resources that you'll need subscriptions to or need, logins to. So that's the focus for this week. In Google Classroom itself, you'll notice that in the classwork tab, teachers have created folders which simulate or take place of the binders that we typically implement in school as an organization system. Also on the stream page, when you first go into each classroom, that top portion, we call it the banner, that is where you'll find all of your live session times and the link itself to be able to enter those live sessions. That will always be there in the spring. I know that teachers were posting their links. That is no longer the case. As a school, we've decided to streamline that process in terms of where to find the live link every day for every session. And it'll always be up in that top banner and easy to find. Student expectations behaviorally and academic at 9th through 12th level. Academically really is to make sure that you are being accountable for your attendance, being present every hour, and then making sure that you're completing required coursework every day on a daily basis. Look out for due dates, make sure that you're putting forth your best effort to earn the grade and to earn the credit for that course. And also academically, I'm going to tie in communication. Using your Gmails is going to be very important. Your school Gmails to communicate with your teachers. We're going to steer our high schoolers away from using necessarily other platforms and sticking to our Gmails to communicate with our teachers that way. I'm hoping that by high school, you have some experience with emails in general, but make sure that you go into your G Suite account, into your Google account, and in the apps using the actual Gmail linked to your HES account, for school, and communicating with your, peers and your teachers that way. That is the best way to get a hold of your teachers. That is the best way to get a hold of administration as well. So please get used to the two-way communication via email.
Right.
Behaviorally,
Expect some emails this week coming from the teachers to check in on you and see if you're struggling with anything particular related to their class. So it's
be
very
sure to
important that you check
respond.
your inbox this week.
Yes, those emails that are going to come weekly to each student are going to basically check in with you on your progress of mastery for those particular skills that week. So if it's a math class, for example, and you're learning about a specific concept, they're going to address that and ask, if you need any additional support, how do you feel about that? It's not a check-in like, hey, I'm here. No, it's more, pertaining to the progress of your, of your learning that week. So please be sure to reply to that. It's very important. Behaviorally, during live sessions, really, it's just the online etiquette. Nothing has changed there. We want to make sure that your screen is on, your mics are muted, that we're not using the chat box or the comment box for chatting, or using it as a social platform. It really is for asking questions or communicating with your teacher regarding the lesson, and that's it really. Aside from that, behaviorally, just be sure not to post any personal information, videos, pictures, or use any inappropriate language. I don't foresee such an issue with that, especially in the 9th through 12th. I think the maturity level is a little bit higher, and I think students know how to use and not use this platform. But that is an expectation. We will be held accountable, ourselves and our students, to the handbook, our HES handbook. So that is available for everybody online, but that doesn't change because we're virtual. The same standards of character and behavior continues to apply virtually as well. So,
and as we always say, character leads, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
All right, the second part of this presentation is going to address the Title I services and programs that continue to be offered at the Academy. We are a school-wide program, meaning that the title funds we receive will be applied to help all students. And again, there are additional funds that our school does receive to help close the achievement gap and raise the overall academic achievement of our students. We will continue to focus on progress, and progress monitoring is always ongoing at ULA through various mode of, I would say, assessments, and whether formal, informal, standardized, or classroom level formative and summative assessments. And that is due to the fact that we are very data driven, and we like to always collect data and analyze it to see how we can better inform our decision making. And that is what we refer to as a comprehensive needs assessment. All of this data gets culminated into the school improvement plan, and this is how we derive all of our school improvement goals on a year-to-year basis. Hence why this year, considering the circumstances everyone's going through, we added some additional school improvement goals that would handle or that would address the online platform learning, and then the importance of having safety PPE equipment at the school level. School improvement teams that get engaged in this decision-making process and this planning process are really several committees through which we have some individuals, some students, some of our former graduates used to be active members of the school improvement teams. Some of our families at this point, they can join a team. Some of our existing families are already former members of the school improvement teams, whether it is school-wide reform strategies or safe and secure learning. All of these committees are typically teams of students and staff and parents to help inform decision making. When we say parental involvement, I'm not necessarily just referring to you staying updated and us posting on Class Dojo or online platforms what's going on at the school level. I'd like to use this particular as the example that has been very recent. We collected data from you through the school improvement surveys. The data came back that you would like to see several options, and the data came back that you would like to see more, live sessions, more engagement, between the teachers and the students. And hence, we felt that this is exactly what the families need, and we implemented that. We added that as part of the instructional plan. We will meet on a monthly basis as school improvement teams, because again, this is not a process that should start at the end of the year. No, this is an ongoing process, and if we feel we need to revise certain things and change certain things, we do it very proactively and not necessarily reactively. The way you would join the team is through either email Mrs. Hojej or myself. You can also call the main office and they'll help you. You can speak to Mr. Chakush, our family engagement liaison, and he will assist you with the process of joining a team. I would also like to mention that as all of these committees always will align to the school improvement goals and any activity and any event that we typically establish at the school level. There will not be something that we, create, make up. So many students always come up with wonderful ideas, and we always meet as teams and we evaluate, does this relate, does this align with the school improvement goal, yes or no? And that's how the decision making is always driven. Please know that we will continue with providing English language development proficiency or development programs for our LEP students, for our EL learners, English learners. We will continue to have a full department consistent of ESL intervention teachers to help provide equitable access to the core curriculum to our LEP students. And again, the goal is to assist those kiddos exit the LEP status, and we continue to monitor them even after exiting the status, as this is again part of the ongoing program evaluation process. Students will have a well-rounded educational setting to promote college and career readiness. And that's why I always say character education is such an integral part of our mission and vision at ULA, because to be well-rounded, it's not just about the academics. It's a whole lot more than academics. So when we go a little bit more, firm on you sometimes, particularly in 9 through 12, please know that there is a reason. Us educators, want to succeed with you. And when you fail, we feel that failure as well. When you succeed, it is our ultimate success. Trust me when I say that. So please trust what we tell you. Please trust that we have plans for you for your own success. And please know that, the virtual learning program has been redesigned because it's become an improvement, school improvement goal. It is a focus point this year to ensure that you have equitable access to all of these platforms, and you are receiving the training this week and next week to be, ready. And we don't want technology to be an obstacle, to be a barrier to learning. We want it to be a vehicle to deliver instruction and you receiving the proper learning. As I mentioned earlier, we also added the safety aspect in terms of, when we start blended learning, when those students, return back to school, you having access to that PPE equipment will be very critical. As far as data is concerned, as Mrs. Hojej mentioned, there will be upcoming information forthcoming on NWEA. We are in the process of planning for both assessments at the same time, simply because the waivers are no longer going to be provided to the schools. Schools are now, and schools and students, I would say, are now accountable to all standardized assessments, whether MSTEP, NWEA, PSATs, SATs. So we have fall testing happening, and we will provide you with all the training necessary. Whatever, if the training is in the form of a drive-through, we will. As a matter of fact, we have one that's upcoming for the NWA. I recognize 9th through 12th grade students don't take that assessment, but the PSAT will also entail some additional, structures that are not necessarily part of the norm, that the students are accustomed to. Local assessments, as I said, that will continue to be the case this year. Additional assessments, for elementary, we have gone over them earlier, but for the secondary, formative and summative assessments will be very, very consistent with the assessment policy. Please know that you will see about 2 to 3 formative assessments in the grade book every week, and about 3 to 4 summative assessments per unit in the grade book. What you end up seeing in the lesson plans in general will be reflected in the grade book. Please always communicate with your teachers if you have any concerns regarding an assessment. If you don't communicate in advance and you communicate reactively, it isn't going to help you. And when I say this, is because at the end of the day, you're at an age where you can advocate for your own self. You are the voice. You are your own voice. We're here to make sure we have processes that will enable you to voice your concerns when they happen. So please be sure that you are communicating that in advance with your teachers. If anything comes up, if you have any unusual circumstances, it's important that you have that communication with your teacher. Please do not come to me before you go to your teachers for any concern. At the end of the day, we trust our educators. They are going live with you hour by hour. They want your success. And once you established a trust, a trust relationship and a positive relationship and positive rapport with your teachers, we are only a support system to you and your teachers. At the end of the day, we trust that our teachers are the principals of their own classrooms, and we admire and honor the grade level collaboration that we have across all grade levels. 9th through 12th grade teachers have had the opportunity to actually collaborate, and once we go into the breakout sessions in a minute, Mrs. Hojej is going to post those Class Dojo breakout sessions so that we can join the teachers for the second part of orientation. You're going to get a sense of how much collaboration there has been, because teacher A is not going to hold you, to certain standards that are completely different, from teacher B. Yes, their teaching style will be different. Yes, their assessments may be a bit different, but the overall, I would say umbrella of the system itself will be very, very similar. And really, the similarity will be experienced across all grade levels, K to 12. At this point, Mrs. Hojej, can you just go over what to expect in terms of the second part?
Yeah, so the second portion of the orientation is with your actual teachers. Students in grades 9 or in sections 9A, 9B, 9C, and 10B share the same set of teachers. So there will be a link separately for you to join your orientation with those teachers. And then students in 10B, 11A, 11B, and 12A will all be in a second link. Both will be posted here, and as well as on Class Dojo in just a minute. So as soon as we finish here, you can log on to Class Dojo, click on your link, and it should take you right into your live session with your teachers. And again, this is not necessarily content specific. It's more of an overall norms and expectations within that cohort of students.
Awesome. Okay, we'll see you shortly in the second part of orientation. Please, as soon as you log in, please be sure to type your name in the chat box, and type your student's name so that we can count you as far as attendance for parent orientation. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in this afternoon. We will see you shortly in the breakout sessions. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you.